Hello, I am Annemie, and today we're going to be taking a look inside I Am Setsuna. This is a JRPG from Square Enix, and it's very much supposed to be in the style of older JRPGs like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. I have played about 6 hours of this game. I'm not anticipating there being any spoilers in this review, except for possibly party composition. I'm going to avoid all story stuff. But as I am only about 6 hours in and this is a JRPG, we can very much consider this to be a first impressions of the game. So let's have a look at the thing. So this is the world map. Unlike a lot of RPGs, there aren't going to be any random encounters on this world map, or at least none that I've discovered. You've got your towns. I won't be setting foot in here because I know that a cutscene will happen. But your towns have everything you would expect towns to have. They have mostly your shops. You don't have any forms of inns. All of your healing is item-based. But you can buy things here. You can talk to NPCs. You can get recipes, of which I've managed to find precisely 0 so far, but I'm told that they exist. And you can wander around this lovely environment and find actual dungeons like this one here, Blackwhelm Cave. So let's have a look at this. So you run around, find these monsters, and you try to attack them. Let's do that. You might notice that at the bottom of the screen there is an ATB bar. As you would expect, you see under the leftmost character it's filling up. But also there is a little blue circle with a snowflake in it next to all the characters. The battle is paused while you're in the menu. This is your momentum gauge. Essentially, if you press a button at the precise right time whilst casting a spell or doing an attack or something like that, you will do extra damage or gain an extra benefit. And in order for it to fill up, you either have to do actions or wait with your ATB bar filled up. That's kind of an interesting little mechanic, a more complicated version of that found in the Mario and Luigi RPGs, where you press a button at the right time to either dodge or just do extra damage, but this you actually have a pool of points to spend on it. So in addition to your normal attacks, you have essentially abilities or spells. You can use both inside and outside battle, and this comes from equipping Sprit Knight. This is I Am Setsuna's version of materia. You equip one of the list of them. I've got all the ones I've actually currently got equipped for them. Oh yeah, here we go. So if I were to take Flawless Blow here, replace it with Protect, my abilities would be changed, as you might imagine. There are a couple of different types of it. There are Command, Sprit Knight, and Support. Command, other things that change your command. Support are passive buffs. Like, let's have a look here, Physical Pride. This just boosts my attack power. And there are different slots for the different types. So the C here means that has to be a command, the A here means that it can be any, and the S here is support. So this is an interesting little thing. You might also notice in the bottom right there's a combo section. If 2 characters in your current party have a Sprit Knight equipped with one of the same combo things, so you might notice here that Endir has Cyclone, which has X Strike, Cross Strike, and Grand Cross as a combo thing, and Eterna here has Charge, which has Cross Strike and Grand Cross and Coup de Grace as potential combos. The Cross Strike will become available if 2 people have something with that combo equipped, and Grand Cross will be available if all people have it. And you can use it in battle as you run up and face enemies, which I should be able to show you in a moment. Let's find some more of these individuals. I don't like those grenade things because they have a tendency to explode on you. So I seem to remember a fairly similar system existing in Chrono Trigger. Without the materia, but the combo idea. But that's kind of cool. Watch out, this is takes down with a regular attack. Now, you might also notice that whenever I kill them, it has a description of the type of kill. So, for instance, there had a fire kill. Previously, you might have seen, I don't know, a light kill and a momentum kill popping up on the same enemy. This is another interesting little system that the game has. Lemon enemies with their propensity for actually attacking me. I should heal. Where is it? There we go. These types of kills actually determine what loot will drop. So there is a random element to it with particular types of kills. I think you've got normal drops and rare drops, which will happen with some amount of randomness. But the rest of it, it's actually determined by exactly how you kill them. So if you want to farm for a particular item, you have to use particular abilities in order to do it. And you tend to get a lot of items. But that's good, because this game has borrowed something from Final Fantasy XII. I think is the only place that I've seen a system like this, where, so, firstly, you're not going to get any gold just by killing enemies, or at least I've not seen it. But you will get materials, and materials can be sold for money. Now, lots of games have done that sort of thing. But where it gets a little bit more interesting is that you can essentially trade these in for Sprit Knights. Sell the right combination of these to a merchant and they will have Sprit Knight available for you to claim. You don't have to buy it, just claim it straight up. So you're after getting specific materials in order to get specific abilities for your character, and that's kind of interesting. It's like the bazaar in Final Fantasy XII, where you'd have to sell, I don't know, 7 beast hides in order to unlock being able to buy a case of high potions or whatever. So those are the main sort of mechanical bits going on. You've got some equipment in the way of weapons, and talismans just give you some bonus effects. And I'll talk about flux bonuses in a minute, because we're probably not going to see that in gameplay. But it also affects the slots available for your Sprit Knight. Again, very much like Final Fantasy VII. Okay, so the last bit of mechanical stuff are these fluxes. They essentially all have a chance to happen, and they're more likely to happen the more you use momentum in battle. You see, because I killed them with Endir, they've got fire kills and momentum kills, and one of them had an overkill. Even. But these fluxes have a random chance of happening, and they will give you bonuses. Should stop saying so much, but oh well. They will give you they will give you bonuses for maybe about 20 seconds or so in the fight, and they also have a chance of modifying the Sprit Knight that you've got equipped. So for instance here, I have a choice of whether to modify my Cyclone Sprit Knight with this tech power. But right away, we see a problem. And that is, it doesn't really explain what tech power does. I would guess that it powers up your attacks. But things like unscathed power there, that's a bit less obvious. That gives you more power the higher health you're at. So once you know it, it's somewhat intuitive, and there is a little fact you can go in to look at these things. So you've got your Chronicles, and you look at, where is it? Your flux bonuses. I think it was singularities what I was talking about before, the random effects, not flux bonuses. I am a moron. So as we can see here, tech power increases the power of the corresponding tech. And we've got a whole variety of them going on here, so you can modify your Sprit Knight, but it also doesn't really tell you about any sort of limitations, whether you can overwrite them later. So it's a bit weird. This game really could have done with a little bit more tutorializing, I think. So the other things about this game. The sound design is really quite interesting. It's, from what I've seen so far, solely piano-based, which allows for a lot more strong theming in the game. You get a lot of themes coming through again and again. It's not just your generic orchestral score. But I feel like there probably should have been a little bit more of that. It's a really nice bit of music, but the more common bits of music do start to get a bit repetitive, and the themes do get a little bit grating. But it's still nice enough. It also looks absolutely gorgeous. I really love this aesthetic. But the thing which might be a downside is, so far all I have seen is snow. The game promises various locales, but they all seem to be snow. Now this might be because I'm about a third of the way through the game, I think. So maybe there are other biomes which open up later on. But I'm not holding out much hope from what I've seen. It's pretty, but I would like variety, and within that, I've seen this same cave design a couple of times beforehand already. Not the level layout, it's not doing the Dragon Age 2 thing, but just the stylings of it. So if you are going to keep it to one biome, maybe have a bit more variety in your texturings and designs within your dungeons, I think, maybe. Finally, we get on to the story. Now, the story shouldn't be the last thing we talk about in a JRPG. It should be the first, middle, and final thing we talk about. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a break and I'll only talk about it once. So, is the story any good? Now here is where we might get into some minor story spoilers. I'm not going to do anything dramatic, but we start off as Endir. We are not Setsuna, despite the name of the game. And he is a mercenary. And he gets hired by a mysterious individual to try and kill Setsuna. So he finds her, he tries to kill her, and he doesn't. He gets imprisoned, and Setsuna frees him for no apparent reason. There's a lot of this story which seems to happen because the story needs to move forward, because the story needs to go in a particular direction. A lot of it feels very functional. It doesn't... There's not a lot of indulgence going on here, which is a shame. That's a lot of the reason why I play RPGs. A lot of people rag on the laughing scene in Final Fantasy X. But it's one of those bits of frivolity, which, yes, later on takes a darker meaning, but at the start it just seems... you don't necessarily know why the scene is there. And I like that. I like not feeling like this scene... like, I don't want to know that a scene is there for a particular purpose. I want it to feel like it's actually happening, and a purpose might be revealed later on. So far, this game has only managed to surprise me once with its story, and that's actually within this very same dungeon, and that feels actually more like a side quest than anything else. And not to spoil it too much, but it made me nearly cry over a beetle. So there's that. So yes, the story, it's not thrilling. At least not so far. It might get more so later on, but this is a first impressions, and I feel like 6 hours into a JRPG without the story pulling me in is not a good sign. Mechanically, it's solid, it's exciting. There's not too much interest in terms of leveling up. Leveling up, as far as I can tell, simply increases your HP and your MP. All your other stats are based off your weapon, so you can see that my physical attack and physical defense and magical versions of that change depending on what weapons I've got equipped. So there's not a lot of equipment choice, and there's not a lot of... You don't feel like you're upgrading your character with each level. The reason that I'm most excited about gaining a level in this game is because it refreshes your HP and your MP, and those do fall down quite quickly, which is good. You should be careful about your resources, but those are the only times it'll heal up naturally. Otherwise you have to use items like potions or ethers, or if you're lucky enough to find a save point, use a tent, because it brings tents back, which I'm not entirely upset about. Tents entirely replace inns in this game. So yes, if you're after a JRPG and have already played all of the early Final Fantasies that are on Steam, if you've played the Tales games already, if you've not got the ability to play Chrono Trigger or any of the Dragon Quest games, then yes, I Am Setsuna might very well do it for you, but it's not going to light your world on fire, unfortunately, which is apt given its setting. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. That will allow me to make more of these, and I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day. Goodbye!